I hadn't really intended on responding to this particular topic, but since I have a few minutes waiting for my granddaughter to get out of school, I will, I guess, point out my opinion on the comment that raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour is absurd because someone that stands over a fryer or cooks French fries and hamburgers at McDonald's shouldn't make as much as somebody that has a college education. I suppose the caveat there would be granting that this particular person has a college education, is doing a specialty job, and is only making $15 an hour. There's so much wrong with that. It's difficult for me to put a finger on one issue with it. My initial response is, why are you being a douche? Why don't you want somebody that is a fry cook, flipping burgers, why don't you want them to be able to make a living? Is it jealousy? Spite? How dare they be able to afford to survive as you do? There's probably some of that. Probably a lot of people that just, if you work at McDonald's, you're scum, or you're just a kid and you don't deserve to be compensated for the amount of labor. I was a fry cook. I worked at McDonald's for 3 years. I was a burger flipper and manager later on at a restaurant called Lou's Dairy Freeze up in Portland, Oregon, just outside Portland. Fantastic. And you bust your ass. It's hard work. You may not think so, or you may rationalize it by, oh, they're young, so they can handle it. Well, fuck you. Just because someone's young does not mean the work is less difficult, or less mind-numbing, or less of just a total drain on your life. You need to be compensated for that. It is an effort. It's an effort that's going to be replaced by robots very soon, so the reason I wasn't really going to mention or to comment much on this was because I think it's a moot point. In 5-10 years, they're all going to be replaced by automation, and you won't be having this conversation because there won't be any fry cooks. There won't be any minimum wage jobs. They're lucky to have a job, let alone a minimum wage job. But the other thing that I think in my mind that makes it different is a college education doesn't grant you superior pay. Because you have invested in yourself, you don't then deserve more money. You're an egotistical fuckwad, if that's what you think. Just because you are more educated or have continued your education does not mean you just deserve more money. You're not a superior human being. But the benefit you get from that, not being more money, the benefit you get from an education is the choice. The more educated you are, the more choice, the more options you have to do more things. Someone that's in school, in high school, dropped out of high school for whatever reason, tough times, they don't have the broad education. They don't have the experience because they're young initially, if you're talking about young people, but they don't have the education either to do something more specialized. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to survive. They're human beings, they work just as hard. But as an educated person, someone that puts time and effort into filling your brain with information, you then get to decide, do I want to just survive frying hamburgers and French fries, or would I like to survive doing photo editing? Would I like to survive doing a journalism type job? Would I like to survive doing a specialty thing? It's not more difficult because you spent more time educating yourself doesn't make the job more difficult. It just makes it more specialized. You need a little bit more information. If you don't have that information, you don't get that option. But when you do educate yourself, you have created more opportunity for you. It doesn't mean you get the right to push other people down because they didn't spend the time to educate themselves. We still need fry cooks. We still need burger flippers. That's not a degenerate's job. That's not a step down. That is a necessary function. We need people at the moment to do that, and they should be able to do that and be able to feed them, clothe, and shelter themselves. I don't get this, no, I'm more valuable than you are, so you shouldn't get as much money mentality. I don't get it. We're all human beings, and we all deserve to be able to live. I don't care what you think, what the naysayers think. Anybody has the right to live and to be able to survive. And a living wage for all work as a compensation should be the least that we should do for our society. The least we should do for our people is make sure they have enough money to survive. Getting an education, of course, is going to be beneficial on many, many different levels. But what it does give you more than anything is the ability to do something you prefer to do instead of something you have to do. Most people, when they're doing a fry cook, or and I'm using that as an example because it's what I did, because I wasn't educated at the time, that's what we had to do. But when you get an education, you then get to choose what you like to do. So take two jobs. One of my clients is a computer management systems manager, maintenance for the electrical supplies at a school. And he gets like $15 an hour. He was one of those that says they don't deserve to get as much as he's getting because he put all this extra effort into educating himself so that he's better. He can do the job better. And my argument to that in this video, as I've already said, is no, you don't do the job better. You just are able to do the job. If that same person that's flipping burgers got the same education, they would probably be able to do it at least as good as you. So what you get is the opportunity to do a job that you would rather do, not to hold somebody else down and lift yourself up because you think you're better. I suppose, and I've got to start going here, so I guess I'm going to wrap this up by, don't be such a fucking douche. Everybody deserves enough money to survive. But if you do educate yourself, you get the bonus of the education and be able to choose what you want to do. At least a little bit more, and at least in theory. Stop being a douche. Peace.